So just really quick about this Phanteks case. I got my graphics card installed in on here, right? So what this Phanteks case offers, which is I think is pretty unique, is that they have the anti-sag bracket. And I'm going to show you now how this installs. And you can see here where the tabs of the video card bracket pokes through the back of the case. You can see them right here. And if I reach around and move the card up and down, you can see those two tabs moving. So what this bracket does is it gets installed, and I'm going to show you how to install this. I think it's pretty nice how they added this feature. Okay, so they give you a couple of thumb screws in the bracket here, and once again, there's the tabs for the video card right here. I'm moving them around. I don't know if you can see those move, but they're moving up and down a little bit because the card has some sag, which is, you know, normal, really, which is normal. So the way they tell you to install this, and this is how they tell you to install it, you take the braided side here, the side with the cutouts in them. Here's the side for the two thumb screws, and this side of the case, which is the back of the case, obviously. This side is where you're going to put the thumb screws to hold this bracket into place. And this bracket fits down in here like this. And you can open up this bottom door if you want to. But I'm just going to fit this bracket in here. And I'm going to move it up and down until I see the holes line up on this side. Okay, I see them here. Okay, I got a little bit of play, and I can see I got a slot really to put the thumb screws in here on this back side. Okay, so, and then if you can see, I don't know if you can see how the graphics card tabs are sticking through a couple of these slots on this card. So it says we're going to hold that into place. I'm just going to loosely install the two thumb screws here. So these thumb screws fit in here perfectly, right? No problem. But when I try to install this, quote, anti-sag bracket on here, like it's supposed to be, supposed to go like that to hold the card up. That's the idea, I guess. The holes don't quite line up in the back where the slot is for me to put these screws in straight, and it's just not going to happen. So this is just a gimmick, just to let you know. Anti-sag bracket is just a gimmick, unless this particular case is flawed, but just a gimmick. Doesn't work, can't get it installed. Sorry, Phanteks, we lost on that one. So let's move on. Yeah, well, after installing my Noctua fans here, I've kind of routed them. You'll see what it kind of looks like now in the back. I think everything's going to be able to plug into this hub pretty well. And this is the fans to the radiator. So we'll get those figured up as soon as we get the power supply in, which is next. Okay, let's talk about a little bit of a power supply action here. This is the Seasonic Prime Ultra Platinum 850 watt power supply. This is a fully modular power supply. However, I have the cables already inserted in it that I'm going to need when I install it into this case here. And like it, they have all black cables, which is really nice. The 24-pin cable is sleeved properly. The great thing about this Seasonic power supply, Seasonic makes awesome power supplies. This is obviously going to be a 80+ platinum power supply. It's certified with a 92% efficiency at 50% system load. And it has a micro tolerance load regulation, which basically achieves under 0.5% load regulation. This has a premium hybrid fan control, which enables users to keep the overall fan noise at the lowest possible level. It has a fluid dynamic fan bearing. It's extremely reliable, considerably less operating noise and heat than ball bearing fans. This power supply has 5 rails, and its 12-volt rail has amperage of 83 amps. It is fanless until you hit a 40% load, multi-GPU setup, gold-plated connectors, and get this, everyone, 12-year warranty. 12-year warranty Seasonic puts on this, so that's awesome. Let's go ahead and get this installed in the case. So we'll just go ahead and open up this door here. Fold this down. Then we'll grab our power supply. And like I say, I've already got some of my cables already installed on this fully modular power supply just to make it easier once I get this inside here. But I'm going to install this upside down. There are reasons why you want to install this upside down, and I'm going to explain that to you here in a moment. But this case does have a opening to do so, to install this upside down, and it also has a filter that you can remove to clean if need be, but it also has a top cover here to hide the power supply, which, you know, may be something to consider when it comes to airflow. We can go ahead and take the power supply here, get our wires here put in, slide them through, slide our power supply on into place, and I'm going to grab these cables and I'm going to actually pull them out. We can go ahead and slide our power supply on in. And then before I get all the way in, I'm going to stop right there, and we're going to go ahead and install our power supply bracket. Let's talk about this power supply for a second, or let's just talk about real quick reasons why you would want to face the fans of the power supply up or down. There's all sorts of different reasons, and there's all sorts of different debates about it. You know, to me, generally, it's all about preference. Honestly, there are times when I would prefer to mount the power supply with the fan facing up, which are for the obvious reasons, which are, for instance, if you don't have a vent on the bottom of the case, that would be one really good reason not to, you know, mount your power supply with the fan facing down. Wire management, believe it or not, you know, with depends if your power supply is not fully modular. For instance, if you flip it upside down and put the fan facing down, basically that puts the 24-pin that goes into the power supply, it actually puts it closer to the back of the case when it comes out of the power supply, and that makes it a lot easier to give the cable management a cleaner look. Sometimes those cables are closer to the back of the case that way. As far as airflow and all that, it really doesn't matter. You know, if you're going to be worried about dropping screws or something into the power supply with the fans facing up, I mean, the only time you're really going to be dropping any screws is going to be when you're assembling the computer. It's not going to be when the computer's actually running. So, I mean, if your computer's running and you're fiddling with screws or something, and you drop a screw down into the power supply, well, you know, you shouldn't be building computers. You know, so you know, the only time you're worried about dropping a screw down into the power supply fan is when you're assembling it and it's not even plugged in or on. So that's kind of a moot point, really. But here's the big thing. Here's the big thing, guys. Here's the big thing, everyone. A lot of these power supplies now are coming with what's called hybrid mode. And this one has it too. So there's a button back here. Hybrid mode is when, you know, the fan will not turn unless it has 40% or more load. In that case, if you're going to activate hybrid mode, or if hybrid mode is just enabled on your power supply, you want to mount this with the fan facing up, because the heat rises, and without a fan to push that heat out in hybrid mode, that if the fan is facing down, that heat, when it's under 40% load, is going to get trapped up in here. So that is my 2 cents in on that. Hybrid mode, if you want to put your power supply with the fan facing down, disable hybrid mode. If your power supply has hybrid mode and you can't disable it, so in other words, if your fan doesn't spin unless it's under 40% load or more, I'm not so sure about facing your fan down at that point, because any heat that's generating it can escape, if that makes sense. Just trying to make a point there on that. That's my 2 cents in that. But you know what? Build your computer, put your power supply in however way you like. There just about isn't any wrong way to do it. And I think these power supplies today are designed to handle, you know, fan up, fan down, regardless hybrid mode or whatever. But that's just my 2 cents. So I've got this bracket here installed. I've got another screw to put in right here. Let's go ahead and get this other screw put in. And we'll slide this right on in. Get our thumb screws here tightened up, and we will be done with our power supply. And there we go. Power supply installed, check. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, why don't you head right down below here, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel. That would be really awesome. I have much more computer repair videos coming your way. There's also a bell you can click for to get notifications for my videos. I really appreciate everybody's support. And as usual, everyone, until next time, see you soon.